What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes checking in with the head man, the head honcho, the big man on campus out at Karate Combat, their heavyweight champion, Smiling Sam Alvey, who defeated Tyrone Spong this weekend. Vicious KO. Sam, congratulations. Is that the biggest win of your life in your combat sports career?
It is between Tyrone Spong and Rashad Evans. So those two are the two top tier opponents I've ever beaten.
That was something else. Going into that fight, I'm sure you heard, hey, you're fighting a world-class kickboxer, someone who's gotten down, so I'm sure those doubts maybe even fueled you. But talk about, what was your mindset going in? Were there nerves? Was there excitement, confidence? What were you feeling going in against a top dog like that?
Yeah, Tyrone Spong, he's arguably the greatest kickboxer that's ever lived. Like, the three people you could argue would be Tyrone Spong, Henry Hoof, or Gokhan Saki. And Henry Hoof and Gokhan Saki were cornering him. So it was a really good matchup. No, and there were no nerves. There never are. I just enjoy fighting too much. Like, some people fight because they have to prove or this or that. I fight because it's fun. I just enjoy doing it. And I had the opportunity to do it in front of a lot of people in Dubai, and it turned out all right.
I imagine that's the first obstacle when it comes to fighting is do you almost like getting hit, or it just doesn't bother you like it bothers others?
I really like not getting hit. Like, I've been hit so much in my life, I probably more than the rest of the world, as I know what getting hit feels like, and I really like it when it doesn't happen. No, I go into every fight not trying to get it. I want to do everything. I train to not get hit because I hate it so much. Just the opportunity to perform and prove yourself it is the way to prove yourself. And I'm enthralled with it. I love the lifestyle it's given me. I love the training. I love the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears. And I love the rewards of winning.
Years ago when you used to come out smiling and having a good time, people probably wondered, is this guy taking it serious? Is he the real deal? Like, does he have a mean streak? And now I'm thinking that might almost be your secret weapon. You're so at peace and relaxed and having fun that, the other person gets nervous.
I really do think that has something to it. Now, I have just about more fights than everyone. I've got over 80 fights. Tyrone Spong had more than me, but I have more than just about anyone. And part of the reason is nobody ever backed out. Like, in my career, I don't think I've had anyone say, "No, I can't take this fight." Come fight week, and I think it has something to do with I look like a nice fella. But for 15 minutes, if he dies, he dies.
Do you feel like you're fighting, like every time you win, you're 6-0, I think, over at Karate Combat, you're not only beating your opponent, you're beating Father Time? Because as fighters start to get older, the minute you lose, they go, "Oh, Father Time got him." But here, post UFC, you've been a beast.
I don't want to fight Father Time because he will win. I'm trying to draw it out. If I can get a split decision with him, that would be great. I, I I'm enjoying it. I don't hurt, and it's hard to fighters hurt all the time. Like, they have injuries at all times. And I wasn't one of those guys. I have my bumps and bruises. I've got some more stories, but I don't go into the fights knowing that, this is going to fall off this time if I throw it. I go into the fights knowing my body works the way it's supposed to for now.
Well, it certainly helps that you don't have to do as much as you did in MMA, right? In preparation, I think camps are easier in that regard. Not to say you're not pushing yourself or whatever, but
you know what's funny is I don't see it that way. Since joining with Karate Combat, I'm getting close to 2 or 3 years now. I do more jujitsu. I roll more than I ever had before. And rolling is the hard part. I wrestle more. I do jujitsu more. I I do everything except strike more. And, and it's the funniest thing how it worked out, but it has worked out really well for me. I haven't quite added up why it's working out this way for me, but it's what I've gotten. It's worked really well.
You got to give us more than that, because if you told us at the beginning, this is my strategy guides for Karate Con, we would all go, what? Well, how did you end up doing that?
So what I think it is now, nothing in the world will make a person more athletic than wrestling. However, wrestling is a young man's sport. Like, wrestling hurts, right? It might be why I'm not all that much pain all the time is because I don't wrestle a lot. But jujitsu is probably a close second. Jujitsu makes athletes. Jujitsu helps people be able to perform against other people without, getting punched in the head over and over again. And I think that's got to be it, is because I am just becoming more athletic as I get older. I think that's really helping. I have the skills, I have the ability to punch, I have the timing, I have all that. But as my athleticness continues to progress, I think that's given me my edge, and jujitsu is to blame.
Sam, before we moved to Las Vegas, we grew
Mhm.
up in Orange County. We had frequent Las Vegas trips. And when you bring a bunch of friends, you always have that kind of quiet guy from work or whatever. But when he gets to Las Vegas, he just completely changed into somebody else, right?
Uh-huh.
I was at your karate combat match in Vegas. And
Hmm.
when from the moment you came out, it just felt like home, like you were at home. It seemed like you embraced everything about the sport, and the fans really took to you. Can you talk about that night? And can you talk about maybe where you're at here? How long did it take for you to fall in love with karate combat, which is what it kind of seems like happened?
Yeah. So the first karate combat event I saw, Raymond Daniels was fighting, and Raymond and I have been buddies for a couple years. I saw on Instagram, "Hey, I'm fighting tonight. You can watch here." I said, "Oh, I tuned in," and I just loved it. It was so much fun. I love wrestling, love jiu-jitsu, as I've said, but they're the boring parts of every fight. Karate combat said, "Okay, you'll have Greco wrestling, which is fun, and judo, which is a lot of fun, and then striking." And it just took all the boring parts of fighting and did away with them, and I just fell in love with it. And now that I get to fight for them, and they do such a good job of pumping up their athletes, of making the first fight on the card to the main event the star of the show. And the UFC doesn't even do it like that. The UFC will make you earn that star power, and Karate Combat is trying to make you a star. And I'm such a fan of that. You have so much fun watching these fights, and you have a lot of fun learning about the fighters as you're about to watch the fight.
Can you compare the feeling of walking through that curtain, both curtains, and is one are your nerves a little bit stronger in one or the other? Or is it basically the same? What does it feel like for you?
Yeah, it is the exact same. Whether I was fighting for, Joe Schmo in my backyard, or I was fighting for the UFC, or I was fighting for Karate Combat, walking out in front of people that are sharing, I love it. Cheering or booing, or, just being there, being present. I just love it. No nerves for either of them. Both feel just as important, even though there's more people in the stands with the UFC event. Karate Combat sold out too. They've been selling out everywhere they're going as well. But I no nerves. I'm just they just give you the spotlight and they shine it on you.
We were talking about something about a month ago, and it was when Bellator kind of just went away.
Hmm.
We were trying to figure out who's the number two, right? And everybody just felt like PFL was the quick answer. And a couple people sat around and said, well, wait a minute. BKFC has actually made a really, really big splash. We talk a lot about their cards. Karate Combat's been a lot of fun. I was just curious if for some reason BKFC and Karate Combat came to an agreement where maybe they did a home and away or something like that. Would you ever entertain doing that just for a one-off and then
Oh
having
yeah,
one of their guys come back and face you in Karate Combat?
yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I fight anyone at any time. I mean, if PFL wanted me to fight Francis Ngannou, yeah, I'll do that too. Uh, I I like fighting. It is a joy. If they want me to prove I'm better than BKFC, I would do that in a heartbeat. Mhm.
Last one from me, and I hope it's a fun one. Dan Henderson's gym
Yeah,
slash brewery now, right? If
distillery,
Dan told
distillery.
you, huh?
It's a distillery.
Distillery, okay. If he told you, I want to put an Alvey on the menu, what would be the Alvey? Would it be a steak, a
Oh,
burger? What would it be?
we would do a deep dish Chicago style pizza. Yeah, deep dish pizza. That is what the Alvey would be.
Kind of toppings on that pizza?
Uh, it would be my toppings. I like green peppers. I load it with green peppers.
That hit me out of nowhere. I thought for sure it was going
Yeah.
to be some big old burger or something
No,
like that.
no. Oh, well, so I have my food truck, and it's the food fight truck. We sell deep dish pizza there, and actually, one of my pizzas in the food fight truck is the Hendo. It's my best selling pizza.
Oh shit!
So, oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
His is sausage, pepperoni, green pepper. and his best
Ah,
selling pizza is the Hendo on the food fight truck.
Did you
Kevin Lee
consult
has
him,
one
or
too.
you created it?
I created it. Every food on our menu is named after a fighter. We used to sell everything by the name, but now I had to explain what every name was. So, like for example, we have the Triple C cookie, the CCC cookie. It's a chocolate chip cookie. But everybody had to be explained what Triple C was. Like, well, everyone had to explain who the Hendo was, and everyone had to, what the GS pepperoni or the Strickland sauce. So now we still have it on the menu, but we say what it is first.
So the Triple C is a shout out to Henry Cejudo.
It is. It is. It's our best selling cookie.
How did you wind up picking these people? Because have you trained with Cejudo? Do you have a relationship with Cejudo? Or
No, but we had a chocolate chip cookie. It's Triple C just made sense.
what else do you got that's MMA related?
Yeah, so we have the GS pepperoni. We have the sausage. Or is it sauce? The Strickland sausage, the GS pepperoni, GSP. Um, let's see. We had. I gotta remember everything. The paninis. We got the Holly Holm panini. We started with throwing. We've even got my farm animals named after fighters too. So we've had a good time every time we come up with something new. We have a good time naming it.
You're in Tennessee, right?
We are. Yep, close to Nashville.
Close to Nashville. All right, cool. Are you going to expand that business, or is it just one truck for you?
We'll see. We'll see. We've been very successful with it. Like we get around, we do just a ton of work. It's a lot. I suppose if you have your own business, you have to work harder than the rest of the world, and that is where we are with it. But we have such a good time. I get to go out and I just have to have get to have 1,000 conversations with 1,000 different people.
All right, so you're not working the grill then. You're kind of like the PR guy, the spokesman, the owner,
my
right?
wife kicks me out of the kitchen. I can cook, but not like her. So she kicks me out, and I do all the chatting.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really
That's
cool.
great. I remember when you were in Temecula, you told us you wanted to get out of California, move to Tennessee. It took a while. I believe there was your family was growing. I don't want to get too personal, but I remember your family was growing, and
Oh
so.
yeah.
But now you've been there a few years now, and look at you, just a total rejuvenation out in karate combat.
Oh,
People thought you were probably gonna pick up a check or two, and then fade off into the sunset, and you're wearing straps and you're taking out legends, and
oh
and
man.
and you're not going to boring decisions, you're knocking them out.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've had 6 fights in karate combat. I finished all but one. I have been just having so much fun. And everyone I fought is UFC level, is UFC or the greatest kickboxer that's ever lived. I have fought some good guys in karate combat. It's so much fun. Karate combat has put so much forward. I talked to him today. So, I call out Eddie Hall. I talked to him today, not Eddie Hall, but karate combat. They said they are working on getting Eddie Hall to fight me. It's been 3 days since my fight, and they're already reaching out to Eddie Hall's people, trying to make it happen.
Two
Nice.
more quick ones.
Okay.
What fighters from the UFC? Look, I'm sure some have reached out, but do you believe that there may be a future for some of the fighters that are aging and getting ready to leave the UFC and get into other forms of combat? Could they follow your path? You think?
I They absolutely can. Now, karate combat is I do believe karate combat is the most premier striking league that's ever been. I think it's better than K1, better than Glory, better than a lot of those. It's better than one championships kickboxing league. Karate combat, it goes out of their way to find the best in the world that are good at striking and entertaining with it, and put them on the cards. So they've had a couple other UFC fighters. The other UFC fighters have not had as much success as I have. There've been a couple UFC fighters that get washed out of karate combat or beat up in karate combat pretty quick. And so to think that it's the retirement league, it's just not the case, because for the most part, every UFC fighter that has come has lost.
Do you think the result of your fight maybe ruined any plans out there? Maybe they thought Spong might win, or did you get that type of vibe at all? Or
No. What surprised me was Rebellis is joined from the UFC. He is joined now. Rebellis is a bronze medalist in the Olympics in Taekwondo. He is like designed for karate combat. This is his striking. This is his sport. As soon as he entered, I started talking to President Awesome. I said, "Hey, I want to fight him. How do I fight him?" President Awesome said, "Sam, he's a big guy. Let's not put the cart in front of the horse. We'll see what happens." Like, he's like, he wasn't a fan of the matchup. I said, "Okay, that's fine, whatever." Then I got to meet Rebellis. I was like, "Holy shit, this guy's huge." So when they came to me offering me the title fight at heavyweight, I was surprised because I had assumed Rebellis, who has now fought with Karate Combat 3 times, in total, he's been in the pit for 20 seconds. Like
Yeah.
he has knocked 3 guys out in 3 seconds each. I was surprised he came to me asking if I wanted to fight the title as opposed to Rebellis. So that was really that was touching that they put me ahead like that. So I suspect that fight is coming. I would like to defend my light heavyweight belt, and I would like to fight Eddie Hall. But the order in which those 3 fights come doesn't matter to me.
Well, here's why I asked, because I watched that highlight about 100 times all weekend, just examining different things. And there was one guy in the crowd, and I don't know if it was the president asked him or who, but there was someone that was very serious, almost like they weren't happy with the result. Maybe it was someone else. I don't know. I don't know if you watch those types of things, but I was like, I wonder if Sam ruined plans, or maybe that person might have just been part of the other team. Who knows? But that's why I was wondering.
I don't know. I got nothing but good feelings from Karate Combat. I feel they want me to win every fight from now till forever because I don't think they have a harder working fighter. I am getting interviews every chance I get. I am doing everything I can to make sure everyone realizes how good and talented Karate Combat is.
For sure, man. You're a star over there. We're so happy for you, Smiling Sam, doing your thing, keeping the career going. And like I say, these aren't boring fights, man. You're out there thumping people. So keep doing your thing. And thanks for allowing us to catch up with you today.
No, absolutely. Hey, can I give a shout out to one other business I've got going?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I started this thing on School, SKOOL. I call it Smiling and Striking. I'm coaching people from around the world. I am teaching everything I do, everything I train, how I train. I try and help people go from never fighting before to making their UFC Karate Combat debut. I've been doing it we've been live for about 3 months, and it's been wonderful. I have met so many people and helped so many people grow. Actually, every person that has fought after working with me, they've won their fight. So that's pretty great. But I would love to work with anyone that's listening. Even I've got a free side and a paid side. You get a lot out of both. So if you want to just come and see it, check out my Instagram, check out my TikTok. The link is in the bio, or you can go to School itself and Smiling and Striking. And I'm just having a blast helping tomorrow's superstars.
That's pretty cool. All right. And the food truck, what part of Nashville do you frequent? Where can they find that? Anyone that wants to come?
Murfreesboro. If you go to Instagram or Facebook, we are the Food Fight Truck.
Okay.
So you can find our locations there. But yeah, we're all over Murfreesboro, Nashville area, and we usually do 2-3 nights a week.
That's awesome. All right, man. Take care. We'll talk to you soon, Smiling Sam.
Thank you very much. Have a great night, guys.